Thank you for setting all this up. And I should hit OK, I think. And you want me to introduce? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Clarifying.
Mm-hmm. We're on.
Thank you for setting all this up. And I should hit OK.
Is this live streaming now? Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Mhm.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Hello, Daniela. Welcome to Never Signed Up for This, our space to talk about the real hard shit and just in a safe space, be our authentic selves, feel our feelings, share our hard from life, and just feel seen and held. And yeah, do you want to start out, Daniela? I know you've been going through something big and you posted about this. And
Mhm.
yeah, do you want to share?
Yes. So basically, I posted a photo of myself crying because I was
Yeah.
crying in the car. I think especially this last week, I've been crying a lot, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what. I mean, I was sure I know why, because there was a lot of sadness. Um, And then I posted about this, and I got so many comments,
Mm.
and people reached out to me personally on not on DMs, but texted me and shared shared what they've been going through. And we have said that today is going to be like the topic of the Trauma Olympics.
Yes.
And so I like I'm very aware of like all of the thoughts and emotions that are coming up with this because I'm like, holy shit, like there's so many people who have gone through worse things that I
Mm,
have. And like, who am I to even set this out there? And now people might be
mm.
thinking like that there's something really horrible, horrible going on. And so I'm rationalizing with myself, like, oh, I need to make sure that everybody else knows that we're okay and we'll be okay and
Yeah,
everything's gonna be okay. And it's like this, do you know what I mean? It's
I
like,
do. I do. First of all, honoring what you're going through. Oh, and I don't know why we do this. This is something to talk about today, but we do compare ourselves and our trauma. And I believe trauma, and some of us don't even call it trauma, but
hmm
trauma isn't necessarily the event that happened to us or the experience, it's how it affects us. Like, I don't
hmm
think there is, again, I'm sure there are, and, I'm not a therapist, but I'm sure, like, I know divorce is high up there and car accidents and things like that. But no one escapes trauma in this world. I don't believe that any
hmm
human does. We all have this. It could be your experience as a 5-year-old on the playground and being bullied or someone taking your lunch. That's a trauma that can affect
hmm
you, right? So, yeah, Daniela, I don't know why it's so relatable to me because I've done this, I think, through all my traumas, and yet I want to be seen so badly and I want the support, but it's hard when you put it out there like the light shining on you. There's something where we
hmm
want to dim ourselves or
hmm
dim, like, oh, I'm
hmm
fine,
hmm
even though you're not fine. It's so this is a great topic, but yes, to your question, completely relatable to me. And I still struggle with this.
I
Yeah.
think it's really interesting. What I've also noticed is when I shared it, and through the act of sharing, there is a release there too. Like there is a relief
Mm,
and a release. Like I have shared, okay, I have shared the story. I haven't shared like all the details because,
yeah.
it's also my daughter and I don't want
Yeah.
to overstep my boundaries or tell things that she might not be comfortable with.
Right.
Um, but I think what it is really interesting because we're just being um, and you and I, we've been talking about this. We're just so conditioned to show the highlight reels,
Yeah.
to show how happy and great everything is.
Yeah.
And and I guess like everybody carries something, but everybody hides it also. And what if we were actually able to talk about this? And how would society be if we were able to
Mm.
like be honest and open about it? But you know
Yeah.
what? There's something else that I've been thinking about as well. I think in America, more so than maybe any other country, even though like that condition to just show like the good things is of course a global thing. Um, but I think we have it in we have not I know we have it in the Constitution, the pursuit of
Ha.
happiness, the pursuit of happiness. And if you're not happy, then you're not doing your job.
Yeah, you're
Please go
somehow
away.
less than, I think. You're right. You're not doing your job or you're doing something wrong. I've
Uh-huh.
felt that way. I've definitely felt that way. Yeah. Or if traumas have come in, or just this whole core idea of our child suffering. You and I have talked
Hmm.
about this. One of
Hmm.
the worst pains I've ever experienced in my life, like as great as heartbreak or loss. It's just, it's a horribly heavy pain. And I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, it
But
is because
the,
it's like the mom has to have all the
we have
answers.
to have it all together and we're supposed to
Uh-huh.
fix it. And we so
Mhm.
somehow it like reflects on ourselves, I think, and that makes it possibly shameful or it's it's one of those things. I think it makes it very isolating for us. It adds into that isolation of what we're going through in the moment.
Right,
Yet
right.
so many moms are suffering in so many different ways. And again, it doesn't have to be the extreme case, and it can be. I mean, the mom who has the child with terminal cancer, let's say, that's freaking horrific. That's the worst of the worst. And yet their experience is different than ours, yet we're still in a state of trauma and suffering and hurting and need the help
Mm-hmm.
and support, right? That's where we get into this comparison of, oh, I just need to be grateful and move on. I know I flip flop between that too.
Same, same. I mean, like, look at the world right now. There is
Yeah.
like horrific trauma
Yeah.
everywhere. There is
Yeah.
kids being starved and
Yeah.
dying. I don't know
Yeah.
how beside myself I would be in that situation. Like, I cannot comprehend this.
No.
Um, and yet, um, going and yet it's real, right? It's like it
Yeah.
doesn't need we don't need to minimize it, we don't need to
No.
exaggerate it either, but I think everybody just feels exactly the way that they feel. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say as much here, like my daughter has an autoimmune disease. She's a celiac, which is interesting, right? So the celiac was like, okay, yeah, it took like 8 months to figure out what it is, but now that I know what it is, we can attack the issue, we can attack the problem. And so this was
Yeah.
in 2018 when we found out. And and so it runs in on on one side of the family. And okay, that's an easy part, that you can do. You can take all of that stuff out. But what happened, you know, the what also happened, it's multi-layered because it's not just celiac. It's like other conditions that come with that stuff and that exacerbate the stuff.
Yep.
Um, and then 10 years of unanswered questions
Ugh.
because why is this child having pain every time she eats anything? Like of course, she doesn't eat gluten.
Right.
But here's the other thing also. Oh, it's celiac. She's gluten-free. Gluten-free is very hip and trendy.
Oh, there's a lot of
Is
judgments around it too. As I am a gluten-free person without
Yeah.
celiac, and there's a lot of stigma
And
and judgment.
and so it's kind of this thing that oh, that's so easy because we have so many places where we can
Mm,
eat now that are gluten-free, and that is right. But it also is kind of poo-pooed a little bit because a lot of people are doing it of choice, and it's choice. Yeah, my husband
Right.
choo is not
I'm
celiac.
more
He
of a choice.
chooses. Yes.
Hmm.
And we don't have any of it in our house. Like literally, if there's just any cross contamination, she's out for 2 weeks. Like,
Oh my goodness. This is
or
severe. Like this is a lot.
it's,
It's
yeah,
not a lifestyle.
no, it's not a life. It's not a
no, it's a
lifestyle. But with
disability in a
that is
sense.
also like for, when you eat something and when every time you eat something, you've got pain with it. You
Oh,
can't, you have to be very, mm, you can't just travel that easily,
right,
because then
right.
she's not gonna eat, and then so it's like it is
Yeah.
it affects everything. And I think for the longest time, I just really, and it's, like over time, it just, you carry a lot over time. It's a lot.
Absolutely.
And you just march on and you figure out solutions and workarounds. You find your tricks and you are able to move things through. And then other things happen that go beyond like the condition itself.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But I guess what also came through me is that there is another explanation now, and the relief to, oh, now we have help. Like after 10 years, like there's tangible
Mm.
help. And there's
Yep.
someone else who can hold it and who understands it. And I can let go of holding it all together. And I think this is when I fell apart, I guess. That's kind of when I let
Well, you
myself
brought up
just.
a really good point because we are, as moms, especially in this situation with our child, any children, child, you're always trying to get their needs met, right? Small and big. And this is big. This is big. This is health, nutrition, gut, everything. So you're doing for all those years. You're focused on that. You have to plan a lot. You have a hypervigilance to what's in the house, what's not, what she's putting in her body, what's not. And so when you, I think this is also part of this, I don't want to say issue, but challenge with us as moms, where there's so many emotions around that we don't allow ourselves or we don't have the space to feel it. So then when things finally do hit an okay point or just like a plateau
Mhm.
or we get
Mhm.
to take a breath, in those sense when you're like, oh, I want to feel all the joy and I want to have happiness and have all the fun, you're actually breaking down because your
Mhm.
body's like, okay, we're finally safe
Mhm.
enough where we can pause and we can feel this.
Mhm.
So in some way it's a good sign, like you have this space right now where you feel your body knows it's okay enough. Okay, I can break down, I can release, I can let go.
Mhm.
And also that doesn't feel really good too, right? It's hard, it's difficult, it's taking away from other things, you know?
Mhm.
And I wanted to add, Daniela, I don't know if this is a good time or not, but when any of our children or ourselves have any sort of chronic health issue, there's also, and they know this fact, there's a mental health component to that.
Mhm.
And there's also a mental health challenge for the moms as well, the parents, the caregivers.
Mhm.
So this is the secondary thing that we're all working through and dealing with. There
Mhm.
is depression, there is worry, anxiety. It's fact. We know this with children that have chronic illness or disease. There is more anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies, all of that. I know this through my own parenting journey and also for myself. Like I deal with chronic health issues, and there is a mental health component. So that's the added, gosh, it's like which came, well, you know, which came for the physical
Mhm.
probably, but yeah, you're dealing with a lot is what I'm saying. It's multifaceted. It's not just celiac disease or just whatever diagnosis, right?
Mhm.
It's more.
Mhm. It's an interesting thing, or a word that I learned a few years into the journey, um, that I'd never heard before. Well,
Yeah.
which was care load.
Ah.
Care load. It's so
Mm,
interesting
yeah.
because I would advise anybody to look up whatever your children are dealing with, and what you're
Yeah.
dealing with, and what you're carrying and taking care of, is what the care load is. So there is, they measure that, and it kind of blew me away because, yeah, it was like the shame and the guilt that I can't hold it
Mm.
together. I can't keep my job. I can't, like I can't function in the way that I functioned before. So I'm doing all of these things, but it's not enough, right? It doesn't feel enough because we have these expectations on ourselves, and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing other people, they have stuff going on as well. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
way worse. Like we minimize our own stuff. It's way worse, and they can do it, and they're holding it all together, and they're building businesses and all that.
Yeah.
And then I read, and it blew me away. I read about the care load of celiac.
Ooh,
And
tell
for the
us.
first, it's
Yeah.
the care load. It's silly, right? It feels silly to me. It is similar to a cancer patient.
Oh my goodness.
And so, it was something where like I felt validated for the first time. I felt
Yes.
validated.
Yes.
Right now, do this for 10 years. Say
Oh,
this for 10 years. Just
you
hold
could go,
this.
okay, it's not me. It's not that I'm deficient. It's
Yeah.
that this again is like something I never signed up for, but here it is.
It
And
is. And of course, I'm in for it, right?
yeah, heck yeah.
You know.
Heck yeah, you are. You're an amazing mother. Like, yes. Yes. And so what do we do with this? Like, what do we
Mhm.
do with this? And why do we downplay it? You know?
Mm. Well, I think that there is, from what I have learned and studied, and I've studied for 5 years a women-centered
Yeah.
modality, and it talks about the main blockages for us is shame, lack, isolation. And
Mm,
this is for women, um, like high potential women, but also, but of course, mothers too, like, and, professionals.
mhm.
Um, that the underlying thing that prevents us from, actualizing whatever we want is shame, lack, isolation. Now,
Wow.
when you work with or you have a child that is dealing with something,
Yeah.
the shame part, shame and guilt, I think I verbalized this over and over and over again. I'm ashamed. I feel guilty. I'm ashamed that I let my daughter suffer
Mm.
for, because I was straddling a work, like a job, a contract, and her
Yeah.
care at the same time. And I couldn't do anything. So I felt really ashamed, and I felt guilty that I let her like lie in bed,
Oh,
for
Daniela.
months, not being able to go to school and not being able to figure it out, So then I left work, and then I focused on that, figuring out what's going on. So as women, we make shame-based meaning about
Yeah.
situations that happen. So if something is
Okay.
going wrong, we make that mean that we've done something wrong. Like we're the mom,
Mhm.
it's our responsibility. We've done something's wrong innately in us, about
Yes.
us, that my child has to go through this.
Oof.
We
It's so
do this,
heavy.
we do this automatically. Then there is the lack. And when you have, and I just put this together the other week, when you have a child with mystery illnesses
Mm.
that the doctors can't figure out what it is, and all the tests come out, it's totally everything's fine, but she's not
Yep.
fine, right?
Been there.
And then
Hmm.
yeah, and then and then the thing is, oh, she's making it up, or she is like over dramatic, or she's a hypochondriac, or
Or it
and
reflects on the mom because I've been in those rooms where I feel like they think I'm crazy. I wonder what they're putting in the notes. Like they think I'm a
Yes.
helicopter mom, or
Yes.
she's off her rocker, or she's too like
Yeah.
woo-woo integrated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've felt it all. Like just the
So many things.
judgment on the
Hmm.
mom
Hmm.
as well. Oh,
Yeah. And so it's this lack of resources. It's the
yes.
lack of resources because, the doctor sees you in and out. They're just looking at one part. They're used to,
Mm.
like they're not, they, and really, I mean, thankfully, well, the pediatrician that we've been working with over the years now, who actually, like, we've found out that her celiac numbers were through the
Oh, she
roof.
did.
Well, she said, well, if you find out what it is, will you please let me know? Just in case
Oh,
something like this happens for
again.
others, right? And you're
Yes.
just like poking around the edges. And you know what? A lot of things that Leona actually found out. You know how? Tick freaking talk, TikTok.
Ah, TikTok. Yes. I love
Because
this.
yeah, because like there are young women who are verbalizing and sharing their experience. And Leona, oh my gosh, that's me. Oh my
I
gosh.
love this.
So she was able then to help me understand what's going on with her through TikTok. So like it
Wow.
bridges that lack of understanding, the lack of resources, the lack of support, the lack
Yeah.
of help. And you know what I remember that I went to a therapist like pretty early on in all of this,
Hmm.
maybe a year or so in, and he said, "What's your support system?" And I looked at him and I said, "I am the support system. It is
This
me.
is
I
it.
support everyone. I step back and I support everyone. I don't, I'm an immigrant.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
both of our families live in Europe. There
Wow.
is no one there, and we have to just like patchwork it together. I
Do
don't
it.
know how it is about you. Sorry, I'm like talking a
Oh, no, no,
lot
no.
with
Please
this
don't.
one.
No, please do not apologize. Do not dim your light, Daniela. This is perfect. Same. Well, not same. I'm not an immigrant, but
Mhm.
similar in the sense that it's just my husband and I. We have no family out here, never have. We have, and it was honestly difficult to build community, very difficult. So the first 2 years of my daughter's life were a lot of quarantine. We knew that word before, well before COVID made
Normalize.
it popular.
Hmm.
So it was on me. My husband was the breadwinner. It was hard to build community over many of the years, many of the years. And so there were times we would, you know, there were a few times we would hire help here and
Hmm.
there,
Hmm.
a babysitter, nothing
Hmm.
like a full-time caregiver
Yeah.
or nanny. We didn't have the means for that, but yeah, it was very difficult, very, very difficult. And especially, the hard situations or the crises, the medical crises really would just take the life out of you for a few weeks to a
Hmm.
month. My health began to suffer. I I was worn down immune system wise very much for many, many years, and then I developed chronic illness. So it is heavy, Daniela. Like it is for sure heavy that we carry all this. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I'm glad you brought all that up with the, correct me if I'm wrong, the guilt, the
Hmm.
shame, the isolation.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
yeah, the lack of resources and the lack to
Lack of
um
resources,
yeah,
which
of
which
res
is
hmm.
very common. I also remember not feeling like I could trust anyone because my
Hmm.
daughter's level of care was so high.
Mm.
That was difficult.
Oh my gosh, like the
Um,
constant
you're constantly on. You're on
uh
24/7,
yeah.
giving, 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 and living at this hypervigilance too.
Hmm.
I think for anyone too, I want to bring up this point for your journey and mine as well, or anyone dealing with waiting for a diagnosis. There's
Hmm.
that period. I don't think most health conditions, mental health conditions, learning disabilities, whatever it is, there's usually this period of like something's not right, something's not right. You feel it, you feel it, you feel it, and then it takes time to get care. And then sometimes it takes months to get more care or to figure out the diagnosis. Maybe you never get a diagnosis. For myself, I've had a lot of appointments where they've said, and we'll talk about this another time, but the doctors have said, I've never seen this before, you know.
Like,
You're like, oh,
great.
great, great, not again. Um, and we just do the best we can in those moments. I know we have the guilt. I've totally experienced this.
Mm,
I have experienced moving also, like state to state when my daughter was young, and then things not being picked up by the new doctors. So I had a
mm,
stack of medical records like this, and they didn't go through them and
mm,
things were missed. And the guilt I felt was horrific. And I'll
mm,
tell you the one thing I did to make peace, and I do even tell my friends, I tell my clients who are moms dealing with any sort of guilt. And let me know if this resonates for you, but we have to believe this. We make the best decisions we can in that moment with the
mhm.
information we have. And this is
Right.
truth.
Mhm,
This really is truth. Like in that moment, if we look back on whatever we have regret on or guilt about, we have made the best decision we possibly could with
mhm,
where we're at in our life and what information we have. And
mhm,
to just make peace with that and move on. Like we did the best we could. And then it brings up all the other issues. Maybe there's anger and frustration, and we can deal with those as well. But it does take that off ourselves. It's a little bit gentler on ourselves. Like
mhm,
we know our intention is so pure
mhm,
as
mhm,
mothers. Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Ugh.
Whew. Yeah, so you carried so much. I think this is really crazy, right? So you've been hyper vigilant for years,
For years,
decades,
decades.
decades.
Yes. Yes.
And it's no wonder that you develop like a disease,
Yeah. Dis-ease.
which, yeah, it is like a dissonance in the body because the hypervigilance is always on edge, always on the
Yeah.
lookout, always thinking 5 steps ahead. What if, what if, what
Yep.
if? And trying to control the environment the entire time.
Oof.
Um, and then uh, the feelings of guilt and shame, the lack, and then the isolation.
Yeah.
I mean, like you and I, because we've been studying this so much, how we just resort to techniques that we've learned in our childhood and youth in order to
Mhm.
stay safe. Like
You
you
bet.
isolate, you retreat, you isolate, you don't want to reach out, you don't want to, you're just dealing with your own self. Um,
100%.
and that's what we do in those situations, also not to make other people feel uneasy,
Mm.
because we all want to help. And that's the
Good
hard
point.
part. If other people can't, you know that they can't help, that there is no help, and you self are helpless,
Mm.
unable to fix or make things better for your
Right.
child, it feels like it's I
Mm.
felt like a burden. I felt like a burden that I don't want to talk with anybody until I've
Yeah.
and talk about it again, like and again.
I did too, Daniela. And I also felt like they wouldn't understand, so why bother? And my other thing that comes to me is this comes back to like showing all the positive on face. This is when
Mm,
Facebook was
mhm.
fresh, like when 18 years ago, 20 years ago.
Right.
I didn't go on Facebook,
Oh,
but I was like,
yes.
I don't want to. I felt like when I shared my hard stuff, because I also had friends having babies at that time and families, building families, that I was so down here in my misery and scared and fearful and dealing with all of that, that I was bringing them down. Like they wanted to celebrate, and yet I felt like they were like, ooh, maybe they shouldn't celebrate as much. Or I had a hard time celebrating them, I think. There was this
Yeah.
disconnect because, yeah, it's again, it comes to not quite comparison, maybe, but that relationship of
Hmm.
I'm different, my situation is different, mine is really hard, not how I planned it. I'm really struggling.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they are in their moment of joy
Hmm.
and happiness. And therefore, somehow for me, it was like, okay, just make yourself small, go in, isolate, deal with it yourself.
Hmm.
So that was my experience as well.
Right. So that's a really interesting thing. Like the isolation is like the coping mechanism.
Yes, it's like a self-inflicted, it's like, I'm going to do that. And maybe you're even doing it selflessly in a way, like to
Oh,
not,
totally.
right? Yeah, like to not make the other feel weird or bad or, yeah. So you're just going in your own world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's part of why, you brought this to me and we wanted to talk about this stuff so that women don't feel like they have to do this as much, getting it more
Hmm.
in the open. I think
Right.
so many of us are silently suffering or going through hard times, even if it's a hard day or a hard week, and you have
Hmm.
quote unquote normal mom things going on, plus
Hmm.
juggling work or whatever. That in itself, we don't need to downplay that. That is also probably very similar. The guilt, shame, isolation show
Hmm.
up right there as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oof.
I know.
So, Amy, okay. So what was the turning point for you? I mean, yeah, what's the turning point for you?
Honestly, it was more trauma. It was more hardship,
Hmm.
more diagnoses. So it was a really rock bottom moment, I think, for me. And I thought I had been doing everything right up until
Hmm.
that point. I thought that my functioning at a high level still was okay, I'm healed enough. I'm doing okay enough. And it was, it was realizing I'm not okay
Hmm.
and reaching out for help in different ways because I had a therapist, I had a talk therapist. I did alternative medicine. I did this or that. I
Hmm.
already at this point though, this was 15 years into my parenting journey. I
Hmm.
had health issues. I had endometriosis. I got the
Hmm.
diagnosis of migraines, very
Hmm.
debilitating. So that just came on. TMJ, all this stuff. So again, holding a lot of
Oh,
tension, inflammation. I mean, the body was
yeah.
screaming at me, and I was fed up. I was fed up. I was like, I do not want to live this way anymore. This is
Hmm.
so it was that combination. And honestly, though, Daniela, fast forward, here I am 4 years past that point, that bottom
Hmm.
point, and
Hmm.
it's still a work in progress and it's still practice and
Hmm.
it's still peeling layers of the onion and healing in different ways. But holy moly, I'm way better off. And I wish my one huge regret, I wish I had had more tools in
Hmm.
my journey so that I wouldn't have reached that bottom point and developed as many health issues as I have.
As you have.
Yeah. So, and that's part of not part of, I think that's the hugest like impetus and fire inside of me for what I'm doing, and trying to teach moms ways to just let go even 1% or 5% or feel the feelings. So, and you too, it's like we understand
Yeah.
this journey
Yeah.
and how hard it's been and how much it's taken away like from your career and from
Hmm.
joy and happiness and peace and health. And if we
Hmm.
can, some of us, though, this could be another episode too. I do believe some of us maybe learn best through the darkness. Maybe
Hmm.
that's part of our paths,
Well,
right?
yep,
So we could like pin
100%.
that. We'll
It's
talk about it another
definitely,
time.
yeah, me too.
And also, wouldn't it be nice if we have more community to go through this through and
Yeah.
with?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're
Yes.
sharing.
Yes.
That's why we're sharing about this. There's one thing that I've learned because about 1 year for me was thankfully just 1 year into
Yeah.
this journey when the life shifted is when I learned and understood something on a foundational level. And um, the because as a mom, moms and children, they're so emotionally, energetically interconnected, and that the best thing we can do for our children is to self-regulate. Because if we are out of sorts, that energy just transfers to our children. And my
Yes.
daughter recognized this now, and I lost it so many times at her. I
Yeah.
mean, when I didn't have those tools.
Yeah.
Um, and um, and I probably traumatized her right there and then. Hooray. But um,
It's okay. It's
it's part of
okay.
it. It's just part of it. We're all emotional beings. But I think what it
Yeah.
is we like our nervous system and their nervous system is enmeshed. And
Thousand percent.
if we are out of sorts and if we are dysregulated, we are just making everything worse unintentionally. Like even if we're like clambering out and trying to fix solutions, especially if we're as hyper vigilant, we it's actually the opposite. Is actually being able to care for ourselves. And there is so much shame and guilt in this because how
Yes.
can I take care of myself and how can I take myself or put myself first if my daughter is not okay?
I'm so
And
glad you
I
brought this
have
up.
been in this
Yes.
forever. But if our nervous system is dysregulated, we
Mm-hmm.
are just automatically dysregulating them. They can't have the peace.
Thousand
They
percent.
can't do that. And so that's why we're doing the
Oh,
work that we're doing. Right.
very, 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 very good point. Very good point. And with that, so then can we, as women, as mothers, permission ourselves to take care of ourselves because it is selfless. It's not
Hmm.
selfish in a sense because we have a hard
Hmm.
time doing anything for us
Hmm.
that is selfish.
Hmm.
Society might say that or look at that or whatever. So can we shift the narrative and realize that by taking care of ourselves, pauses throughout the day, and this doesn't mean like taking a 3-day weekend, although please do if
That's
you can.
great.
Like,
Yes.
please do. Definitely, right? Like that does include that, but it's like taking those moments to get back in our bodies to regulate. Absolutely, Daniela. We know this to be true. We know
Mhm.
this that we can affect the energy in the whole house
And beyond, and
and
beyond.
beyond.
And it's just something that has been so conditioned out of us because in
Yeah.
our society, like we have been prioritizing what we do way more than who we are and what the state of our being is. But so I just wanted to let people know that
Yeah.
you tomorrow,
Yes.
every Friday,
Yes.
you offer breathwork, like a 30-minute breathwork session,
Yep, you
which is
bet. It's
free, right?
virtual, it's free. If you've done no breath work, just come. It's grounding, it's expansive. You will leave better than when you came in. You will feel the shift. So you don't
Hmm.
need to have experience, just come as you are, come messy. You can keep your camera off if that feels better.
Hmm.
Um, I do send out the replays as
Hmm.
well. So if you can't make it live, although live's always better, we
Yeah,
have more
life is
community,
better.
we know this. So yeah, that is open. That is every Friday.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And what about you, Daniela? Tell us too about your breath work you offer.
Well, I have what's called the Breakfast Club. However, it is like we dive right in, and it's a very sacred container. But what I do offer is end of August, a 5-day, I call it the Breathwork Reset.
Ooh,
It is for those people who also want to understand like the science behind breath work and
Mm,
meditation. Um, I have, I have some videos that I'm very excited about showing like what we have known for, like the cultures and spirituality and religion and not religions but spirituality and ancient cultures have known for decades, for centuries. um, there is scientific evidence now, and
mm,
that that's not just an esoteric concept, but that it's actually real, and there is video evidence for that. So
wow.
those are things that I'll be
Love
sharing.
it.
So it is the science, yeah, the science behind it and why it works, and I'm really want to like hand off and give as much information as possible,
Mm,
so that you can just do breath work on your own, obviously,
love
or
it.
to join the Breakfast Club and really trained to just drop in and out and not, and being able to really take care of themselves.
I love that you're offering that. In a sense where there is this desire to educate a little bit on breath work too, because there's science behind it too and its
Mhm,
health benefits and
mhm.
but it's still not mainstream, right?
No,
This
it
is
isn't.
cutting edge in a way because I do feel like 5 years from now, I know of someone who's in a field trying to get
Mhm,
codes made for breath work and other such things, codes
mhm.
so that this can be like billed by insurance. So I think we're getting there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
this is real. We're getting there, although it could
It could
take 10
take
years,
a,
it could take
mhm.
5 years. Like,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
things
love
are
that you're
things are changing
offering that.
fast right now,
That's a
right?
good point. That's a
So
really good
things
point.
have
I
really
love
been.
that.
So just to part, and then we'll
Yes.
probably close this today. But this is
Yeah.
such an interesting thing for me, because I believe the breath and breath work, the
Yeah.
conscious breath is the key. And I always laugh in retrospect about the universe sending us COVID, almost to
Mm.
give us a sign to take the breath away, as the, like the signal, the code, here, 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 focus on the
Wow.
breath, work on the breath.
Mm. As I take a deep breath. Do you want to do a couple breaths to
Sure.
close?
Do you want to? Because,
I'd love
yeah,
to.
would you
I'd love to.
love
Okay.
that? Yeah, you're so grounding.
Oh, thank you, Daniela. So are you. This is the practice. So if it feels good, closing your eyes or softening your gaze, if that feels good, and just taking a moment to roll the shoulders back, to open up that heart space. And we're going to invite in a deep breath from the earth, filling the belly. So push out your belly like a balloon. Allow your chest to fill. And then exhale out with a sigh. We're going to do a few more of those in through the nose, deeply filling the belly up to the chest and exhaling. Taking this moment to allow yourself to feel into your own experiences, your own hardships, joys, lessons, growth, and be with all those feelings that you're experiencing now or have had in the past. The anger, frustration, the guilt, the shame, the disappointment, the unfairness, the isolation, all of that. And just allow yourself to feel and just taking a breath in. You are all of these things and you are more. You are all of the things on the other side of this. But just giving yourself that permission and pause to be with the wholeness of yourself and the wholeness of your experiences. And then when you're ready, just opening your eyes again.
It was
Mm.
so good. So good.
This whole session was so good. So much
Yes.
fun.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
Well,
you, Daniela. I hope you feel better. I'm curious when we check in next time too, how your experience is and
mm,
just
a
moving
lot has
through.
moved. A lot
Yes,
has moved and out and through. So
beautiful.
I'm in a much different space than I was yesterday.
That's beautiful. And the
hmm
power of the shift, the
hmm
power of the shift when we allow it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's so powerful. So powerful.
mm,
So we'll be back next week.
we'll be back.
Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 11
Mhm.
Mountain.
Mountain,
It's
11 a.m. Yep.
Yeah, and 1 p.m. Eastern,
Yes.
for another topic. And you and I
Great.
can maybe stay on a little and just chat about what we want to cover next.
Love
Okay.
it. Mm.